Behind him, a trail of tracks. Beneath him, a pounding stallion. Before him, miles of trails to cover. Within him, a flintlock resolve. Squinty-eyed, firm-jawed, raw bone. Pony Express riders had one assignment.
Deliver the message safely and quickly.
They seized every advantage. The shortest route, the fastest horse, the lightest saddle, even the lightest lunchbox. Could they handle the horses, the heat? Could they outrun robbers and outlast blizzards? The young and the orphans were preferred. Those selected were given $125 a month, a good salary in 1860. A Colt revolver, a lightweight rifle, a bright red shirt, blue trousers, and 8 hours to cover 80 miles, 6 days a week. Hard work and high pay.
But the message was worth it.
The Apostle Paul would have loved the Pony Express, for he, like the riders, had been entrusted with a message.
I have a duty to all people.
Paul told the Roman church he had something for them, a message. He'd been entrusted as a Pony Express courier with a divine message, the gospel. Nothing mattered more to Paul than the gospel.
I am not ashamed of the gospel because it is the power of God for the salvation to everyone who believes.
Paul existed to deliver the message. How people remembered him was secondary. How people remembered Christ was primary.
Paul's message was not about himself. His message was all about Christ.
How difficult for us to maintain this focus. Don't we tend to tinker with the message? Aren't we prone to insert lines of self-service?
A young guide at an art museum was. One sentence summarized his job.
Lead people to the paintings, answer the questions, and step out of the way.
Initially, he succeeded. He walked the clients to the framed treasures, identified the artists, and stepped out of view.
This is a Monet.
He would say, and move back as people oohed and awed, and asked a question or two. When they were ready, he would lead them to the next masterpiece, and repeat the sequence.
This is the work of Rembrandt.
He stepped back, they leaned in. He stood, they stared. Simple job, delightful job.
He took great pride in his work.
Too much pride, one might say.
For in a short time, he forgot his role. He began thinking the people had come to see him. Rather than step away from the work of art, he lingered near it. As they oohed and awed,
Ooh, ah.
he smiled.
Thank you.
He replied, chest lifting, face blushing. He even responded with an occasional,
Glad you like it.
Taking credit for work he didn't do.
visitors disregarded his comments, but they couldn't dismiss his movements. Lingering near a painting was no longer sufficient for the guide. Little by little, he inched toward it, initially extending his arm over the frame, then his torso over part of the canvas. Finally, his body blocked the entire piece. People could see him, but not the art. The very work he was sent to reveal, he began to conceal. That's when his superior intervened.
This job isn't about you. Don't obscure my masterpieces.
Some of you don't relate. The limelight never woos you. You and John the Baptist sing a similar tune.
He must become greater and greater, and I must become less and less.
I believe that Satan trains battalions of demons to whisper one question into our ears.
What are people thinking of you?
A deadly query. What they think of us doesn't matter. What they think of God matters all. God will not share his glory with another. So next time you need a nudge away from the spotlight, remember.
You are simply one link in a chain, and an unimportant link at that.
Don't agree? Take it up with the apostle.
So the one who plants is not important, and the one who waters is not important. Only God who makes things grow is important.
Remember the other messengers God has used? The donkey to speak to Gollum, the staff turned snake to stir Pharaoh. He used stubborn oxen to make a point about reverence, and big fish to make a point about reluctant preachers. God doesn't need you and me to do his work. We are expedient messengers, ambassadors by his kindness, not by our cleverness. It's not about us, and it angers him when we think it is. Jesus has a stern warning for gallery guides who eclipse his work. When you do something for someone else, don't call attention to yourself.
Pony Express riders didn't take credit for kind letters.
Gallery guides don't deserve applause for works of great art.
And we, entrusted with the gospel, dare not seek applause, but should neglect it.
For our message is about someone else.
A European village priest in medieval times once gathered his church for a special service.
come tonight for a special sermon on Jesus.
And they did.
They came. To their surprise, however, no candles illuminated the sanctuary. They groped their way to the pews and took their seats. The priest was nowhere to be seen, but soon he was heard walking through the church toward the front. When he reached the crucifix that hung on the wall, he lit a candle. Saying nothing, he illuminated the pierced feet of Christ, then the side, then one hand, and then the other. And then, lifting the candle, he shed a light on the blood-masked face and crown of thorns. With a puff, he blew out the candle and dismissed the church.
May we do nothing more.
May we do nothing less.